happens, I have done thousands and thousands and thousands of radio broadcasts, thousands and thousands of radio interviews, hundreds and hundreds of TV interviews over the years, and I really never get butterflies. I never really get nervous, even before speaking to a crowd of 5,000 people. It's televised. I don't get nervous when I've been on Good Morning America. I don't get nervous when I'm on CNN or Fox. I am extremely nervous right now. I am extremely fired up and at the same time focused, because we are going to launch something today in the face of the complete criminal takeover of our society, that if you decide to take action, that if you decide to give this idea power and momentum, it is going to shake the foundations of the New World Order crime syndicate that we've already had such great effects against together. We are locked in a titanic struggle of good versus evil, of liberty versus tyranny, of freedom versus slavery and despotism. Now, Congressman Ron Paul is joining us in 30 minutes. Then Paul Joseph Watson is going to be with us with some key announcements. Then we're also going to have, coming up in the last hour, Joel Skousen. But last night, in the face of DHS putting out public service announcements, openly telling citizens to further spy on each other, that anyone buying things with cash may be a terrorist, with the DHS admitting they're going to put TSA at sports stadiums and malls, which they said they'd do years ago, but now they're rolling it out in the face of the FEMA 10 governorship expansion, the threat fusion centers, the states, what we told you years ago, now announcing that they're preparing to go bankrupt, into federal receivership itself, into IMF, World Bank, OECD receivership. With all of this happening, with the Chinese visiting and saying the days of the dollar are doomed, with Henry Kissinger announcing on Charlie Rose 2 nights ago that the New World Order is now being born through the economic crisis they engineered. He left that part out, though. He said through the economic crisis. We are at the crossroads right now. We've been moving into that zone for a long time, but now is the crossroads, and it's time to launch a major information warfare, peaceful resistance to this now. And it is important that this information I'm going to cover when we come back from break explodes dynamically and immediately, and that there be a chain reaction doing this. People are always saying, Alex, mobilize us. Alex, give us marching orders. Alex, we want to hit the streets. Well, I've got a peaceful program to do that, a double-pronged, two-pronged pincer attack against the globalist that we're going to be discussing coming up in the next segment, for the next 2 segments ahead of Congressman Ron Paul, scheduled to be joining us from his Lake Jackson office. He's got an event down there tonight, I'm told. This is so important. Evil is rising, but for any action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is the law of the universe, and we must rise now and really get aggressive against the globalist. And what we do now may take weeks, months, or even a year to unfold, just like what I launched over a year ago with the operations exposing the TSA's plan to take over society via DHS. How the airports are the training grounds to begin the brainwashing. It takes time to build movements, systematic ripples in the pond from the pebbles we throw in. We're going to throw a boulder in today. And you go back over a year ago, and then about 9 months ago, we launched 2 different operations exposing the fake terror, exposing that DHS and TSA is taking over, and that they're training you to be a slave and have them stick their hands down your pants. Now look at them in retreat. Polls over 90% against it. A poll just out nationally in Germany. 89.5% believe 9/11's an inside job. The awakening is here, but it takes time. But what we're about to launch, if you take action, will be the single greatest devastating blow this InfoWars operation has ever launched. It is Friday, January 21st, 2011, and let this be a day remembered for a long time to come, that we launched Operation The Answer to 1984 is 1776, and at the heart of it is the sub-operation V for Victory. Where does that term come from? You see it in movies like V for Vendetta, but where does it come from? The French resistance started spray painting and carving and posting things all over Germany to unify the population through a peaceful movement of solidarity that they did not agree with the Vichy French that had collaborated with the Nazis and helped overthrow France during the German invasion. That was an inside job. Our country has been taken over by offshore banks who have bankrupted hundreds of third world countries in the last 100 years by design with the same system they're now using against our republic. Going in, buying off the politicians, getting them to buy into debt, getting them to underwrite derivatives, devaluing currencies. This is all being done by design as Greece has fallen, as Ireland is falling, as Greenland has partially fallen. The world is waking up and resisting this, and they plan to do the same thing to the United States. In 2002, in March, Greg Palast of BBC Television got the secret documents out of the IMF and World Bank right at the time that Joseph Stiglitz, Nobel Prize winner for economics, quit. He claims he didn't release them. How they were planning to implode the Western world just as they had done the Third World. Now, for over 8 years, I have warned you of the time that we are now entering. This is a huge announcement. Here it is in front of us. A path is sought for states to escape their debt burdens, New York Times. Oh, to escape their debt burdens with the unfunded mandates, the federal government is going to accelerate the quantitative easing, the monetization of debt, past $130 billion a month to $200 billion a month or even more of your tax money. Not only will it devalue our currencies, but it creates a debt black hole that is impossible to escape, and then we owe this to the offshore banks openly announcing a world government run by them. We have to pay it back in taxes, and it devalues our currency. The Chinese come here and openly put us down and say, we own your debt, and we're going to get off the dollar, and our currency is going to be the world reserve currency. This will not just impoverish us, it will implode the geopolitical system that has been and bring us into this authoritarian world government. Ladies and gentlemen, we launched over a year ago TSA demonstrations with posters and videos and got our listeners going with those contests. And it caused massive effects and then created ripples that have grown into the huge resistance that is teaching people how to come together against tyranny, against the TSA absurdities of putting their hands down our pants, of the body scanners. Now, as we told you, the Homeland Security is putting out TV ads in the style of soap operas, showing citizens spying on each other. Anybody that buys things with cash, call the police on them. If you see a cardboard box on the side of the road, call the bomb squad. It's creating hysteria. Every hour I see articles around the country with highways, buildings shut down, people panicking over a tin can on the side of the street, trying to create this culture of fear so that we will accept the unfolding police state that's meant to suppress the population as the economy is publicly imploded, as they admit what they've done, but offer more globalist control as the solution. Now, I was going to launch today, and it's going to be up at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com the next hour. Kurt's getting it together. The answer to 1984 is 1776 contest. And obviously people want to make videos exposing TSA, exposing the globalists and the DHS rollout on the streets to expose this New World Order occupation, this banker takeover. But we have the contest element so that those that do the best job demonstrating, protesting, making videos, doing banner hangs, posting flyers, get recognition and adds an element of competition to it. But then I was talking to Paul Watson last night, and I called him at about 6, midnight his time. He was still up working, and I said, Watson, over at PrisonPlanet.com over in England. I said, Watson, they are rolling out these TV soap opera mini documentaries for television. These are also going to air on 9,000 telescreens going up nationwide at 9,000 locations, more than 9,000 individual screens, where it shows people in these situations spying on each other. We've got to counter this. And he said, yes, why don't we just have people post V's everywhere? Because he's been reading a book, and of course I'm familiar with it as well, most of you are, about the French resistance peacefully showing solidarity, and that the people knew that they were occupied all over Germany, putting, you know, V's on walls, V's on Nazi vehicles, posters hung everywhere, scratching them on the side of, barroom tables. And it it really began to bring down the Germans in France even before the D-Day invasion and liberation. America is occupied by outside banking cartels. And we are writing articles explaining that. I'm going to produce videos breaking that down, tied to the V symbol that we're going to post and show you right now for prisonplanet.tv viewers. But the article is up on Infowars.com right now, and we'll put that article up on screen and also show you these Vs that Phil and I put together last night and gave to Watson this morning. The article is, "You are the resistance against the DHS occupation of America." And it's a big V, black Vs, white Vs, red Vs. Pick whichever one you like. It says Infowars.com under it. Then it has a short message under it that simply states, "We are all in danger. A police state control grid is being established in the United States. Now is the time for all lovers of liberty to stand together and speak out against the growing tyranny destroying our republic. We will be victorious against the New World Order. Post this V for Victory flyer to warn others and show your peaceful resistance, your solidarity." Learn more at Infowars.com. And so every day we're going to be writing articles about this. Every day we're going to be posting local news when they cover these flyers going up in their areas. And, of course, the news will attack it and say it's evil, which will further prove their police state mechanisms. We did this with the Obama poster contest that was on hundreds of TV stations and hundreds of newspapers in the U.S., Latin America, Europe, England, the Netherlands, Japan. And you saw the tens of millions of people that saw all the videos produced by our listeners of them posting the flyers or doing the banner hangs or other inventive things to get local debate about what are people talking about. Then the news will play clips of me talking here. They'll go get it off YouTube later. They will go over what we're talking about and put our message out for us and cause a huge buzz that will then cause more ripples. The DHS understands the power of getting the people involved in their evil. That's why they're running contests right now for folks to produce videos promoting paranoia and pro-New World Order and worshiping the government and not trusting each other, only trusting the federalization police state spy grid. This is a contest. Can the people overpower peacefully in the info war the usurpers, the outside banking cartel that's conquering this nation? Can you, this weekend, who will be the first to print off thousands of these color flyers, get your friends together and hang them everywhere that's legal and lawful? Who will be the first to do banner hangs? Who will be the first to call into talk radio? Who will be the first to get on live TV when they're outside doing live feeds? Who will be the first? We're going to find out by Monday, probably even Sunday. Send us, we need to create an email for people. In fact, let's create victory@infowars.com. If Matt and their IT guy, please create that email when I add that to Watson's article, the article we put out, victory@infowars.com. Please only send your videos or news articles or ideas or flyers you've made, whatever. It's all of us working together through freedom, but collectively with a message, a manifesto, a constitution, a declaration of independence against the globalist. I cannot stress to you how important this is. It needs to explode in InfoWar. I need you now. Don't wait. Go print these off. Take it to Kinko's FedEx. Take it wherever. Print off black and white ones. Print them on your home printer. I don't care. Hang them everywhere. Hang them everywhere. In Austin, Texas, in New York City, in Los Angeles, in Toronto, in Mexico City, in Tokyo, in Berlin, in London, in Sheffield, in Moscow. Worldwide, the banking cartel is trying to bankrupt nations and bring in a world government. This is a global movement of liberty against tyranny. It is unlimited what we can do if you simply take action, if you simply say no. Now, separately, the 1984, the answer to 1984-1776 contest is specifically going out, demonstrating, using the V symbol, whatever you want to do. Creatively, the sky's the limit, and all of us win in the fight against tyranny, even if you don't win the $10,000 prize that we'll, a month from now, announce. You've got to get them in the next month and a week later, so 5 weeks later we'll announce the winner of that. That's just to add some competition and to recognize, you know, whoever's produced the best. This has already been incredibly effective. This has got to be our biggest ever, and I know, I could feel it last night when Watson had this idea that it all synergistically came together. I was freaked out. I was depressed. I was pacing around up here actually yelling, not even that loud, just like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is such classical tyranny. We've got to stand against this. And the ripples that are felt by this will continue out forever. We are pointing out that we know we're occupied. We're pointing out that we know a takeover is taking place. We're pointing out that we know that they're bankrupting our nation by design. We're pointing out that we know local spy grids are being set up. And we're coming out and saying, we know this is illegitimate. And then folks will go to Infowars.com. They will see the videos that you shoot of your activism, and they will learn what the V symbolizes. And through that solidarity, it will inspire them to know they're not alone, to know that we really are the majority that love liberty. Black, white, old, young, German, Chinese, Jewish, Arab, it doesn't matter. We've all got to come together now, whether you're in Chile or whether you are in the Netherlands. It doesn't matter whether you are in Saudi Arabia or whether you are in South Africa, whether you are in Nigeria or whether you are in Mongolia. Let's stand up against tyranny worldwide together. Victory for humanity, victory for liberty, victory for the truth. Come together now. Let's explode this information everywhere. V for victory. Thank you for joining us for this historic broadcast. Yesterday, you made the two search terms about China trying to own the U.S., #1 and #2 on Google. Today, I want to launch our most ambitious operation yet with the Google bomb to launch this V for Victory operation, and the answer to 1984 is 1776 operation. And so please write these down. I want to get the top 4 search terms today. I want you are resistance. You are resistance as one search term. That will lead them to the V campaign. You are resistance is the #1 search term. You are resistance. Those 3 words, you're doing an incredible job. Let's continue doing this together. This is very exciting what we're doing. You are resistance. The second search term is going to be V, just the letter V. V for victory. That's the second term. So the #1 term is you are resistance, short for you are the resistance, because you don't want to do 4 words, it won't work. You are resistance, short for you are the resistance. And V for victory. V for victory. Okay, so that's #1 is you are resistance, is the #1 search term. #2 is V for victory. And #3 is occupation of America. Occupation of America. All of those come out of the headline, you are the resistance against the DHS occupation of America. This is the treasonous paramilitary force openly taking over the U.S., confirming everything that Ridge said they would do 8 years ago, occupying the entire nation, training us for a Stasi society. They hired the former head of the Stasi in East Germany, Marcus Wolf, for 3 years on $1 million contracts to set all this up, 2002, 2003, 2004. He died a few years ago. I mean, you cannot make something up this insane. So you are resistance, #1 search term. #2, V for victory. #3, occupation of America. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do this together, and I'm risking my life doing this, okay? I want you to know that. I'm at the tip of the spear right here. I don't care. I will not have my children and my grandchildren to come being slaves, and you shouldn't either, and there's no doubt about what's happening. As we told you, they do the same thing in every other nation. They take control of the central government, they bankrupt the states, the provinces, the sectors, and then they bring it into international receivership, and instead of paying the nation paying 5–10% for the debt to the bankers that's made up out of nothing, you start paying 15, 20, 30. Then it's more impossible to pay. Then it's even higher. And $1 billion debt could turn into $100 billion. They claim we owe 14+ trillion to these bankers, and it's all made up. But they say, too big to fail, give us everything, give us your land. The EU, admittedly, was a receivership arm. They said Ireland was the wealthiest per capita country, doing so great. Then a month after they went under EU control, they're bankrupted and everything's handed over to the bankers. Even their own government admits it's foreign banker debt they don't owe. The same thing's happening here. Iceland's saying no. We have to be an example worldwide. Instead of America being an example of decadence and corruption and genocide, we need to be an example of liberty and freedom again. The answer to 1984 is 1776. So please, all of you go to Infowars.com. All of you go to PrisonPlanet.com and get the article with the PDF of all these different great V designs that we put together last night. You are the resistance against the DHS occupation of America. V for Victory campaign, a mark of defiance against Homeland Security's takeover of society. It is there. We're putting our John Hancocks on the Declaration of Independence. 2011, as we go straight into this tyranny, we are saying no on every front right now. We are showing solidarity that we know what's happening, and we're waking others up who will question what this V campaign is about. So make your videos exposing the Homeland Security takeover. That's the answer to 1984 1776 operation that will have unbelievable reverberations for freedom and awakening. And at the heart of that, you can incorporate it into both, the V for Victory campaign. Do not wait. Print them off today. Hit them hard. Put them up again next week. Do not stop. Do not wait. Get involved today. Do you realize what we can do together? We can sit back and watch this spread, not just across the United States, but across the world. And the tyrants will take the bait. They will demonize this. They will attack it. They will say that it's violent when the whole thing is about peaceful awakening. We are the people. We are the sovereigns. It's we the people. It's our nation. We have a right to say no to going under IMF World Bank receivership. And they will take the bait, as they did with the Obama posters, and they will demonize it all over the news. And it will cause a bigger explosion of this info. But we got to move quick, because we learned earlier the orders will start going out to tell media not to cover this. So we got to hit them hard before the next few days when they get the orders trickling down locally not to cover this, and that'll wake them up. They'll ask, why are we being told this? Get it out now. The CIA's watching right now, the globalists, the offshore banks, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, they know what we're doing. But there's so many of us, we are the majority. We are liberty, and we're showing people that we're putting our colors out there loud and proud so people understand that there is a resistance. If you're listening to my voice, if you're watching me right now, if you're reading our websites, you are the resistance. You are the solution. Look in the mirror. It's up to you. Come together. We need each other.